Alan Goodman keeps his water bucket filled to the brim. His home's in the village of Everton in Bedfordshire, and nearly every week the taps run dry.
You'd turn the taps on in the morning and there'd be nothing. Sometimes you'd turn the taps on and there'd be low water pressure, so not enough to have a shower, barely enough to fill a kettle maybe, if you're lucky.
Everton is in the driest part of the country. The land here looks bleached and barren, and that's bad news for local farmers.
These carrots, they normally would be nice and firm and standing up and remain like that 3 to 4 days, whereas you can see that they are not too happy.
Doreen Gurney's from a family that's been farming here for 7 generations. She remembers the drought of 1976, but says this year is far worse.
So here we are in drought conditions, and we can only irrigate about 25 minutes at a time, and then we have to stop it, and it takes an hour and a half for enough to build up again.
Doreen says this summer feels like a nightmare.
The problem here is the village is high up and it is right at the edge of the water supply line. Add a drought into the mix and you can see why there are real issues with water.
The water company here, Anglian Water, says demand is incredibly high and there's a risk at peak times pressure may drop. They're currently replacing the mains to improve water resilience. And if you look at these satellite images of Bedfordshire, you can see how much the area has dried. And what's happening in Everton highlights a wider problem, one of water infrastructure and the need for supply solutions.
We are taking water out of our groundwater and out of our reservoirs that we really need for the future. We're already quite certain that we're going to need it next summer, and yet we're just kind of taking it anyway, as if the future is some distant place that we'll never have to go. So sure, there's an infrastructure problem, but one of the biggest problems is that we're just not doing the basics of limiting water usage as quickly as possible now.
As the hot, dry weather continues, yet more fires. This one at East Tilbury in Essex. The extreme heat has brought difficult and dangerous risks. And across the country, a collective hope that rain is coming soon. Laura Bundock, Sky News, Everton in Bedfordshire.